Hi everybody, my name's Miranda and I work across the 4 Oxford University museums as the Arts Coordinator. Part of my role is to develop art and design opportunities for secondary school pupils and teachers and look at providing a more joined up and consistent offer across the museums. So today I'm going to talk about a recent project called museumsketchbooks.com. In 2016, along with my team who deliver art and design sessions to secondary schools, we decided that we wanted to take stock of and develop our teaching sketchbooks. So each museum offers a 20 to 30 minute bookable sketchbook introduction to visiting art and design groups. And these are mainly aimed at GCSE age pupils. So a sketchbook introduction would usually comprise of a quick introduction to the museum and the collection, some specialist time looking at the subject matter the students are actually looking at, and then the showing of the sketchbooks, which give a kind of wealth of visual approaches to the collections. So each museum has, over the past 10 years, developed its own analogue teaching sketchbook, and these have a wealth of visual, often hand-drawn, photographed, collaged approaches to the collections to hopefully inspire students and better enable them to collect visual information whilst they're on their research visits. So to help us with this overhaul of the analogue sketchbooks, we decided to work with John Childs, an experienced local teacher, head of art and design and GCSE and A-level examiner. Essentially, we wanted to make sure our pages were coherent and useful as possible, and also paid attention to the new GCSE specifications, which have an increased emphasis on skill development, so things like observational drawing. We wanted the pages to be aspirational, but not off-putting in terms of standards, and we wanted to model kind of good practice. So whilst we were thinking about overhauling the sketchbook pages, which was quite a lot of work, I began to wonder about how we could make the sketchbooks more accessible to students and teachers pre and post visit, and how we could make them a more robust and useful resource in terms of showing how students might move forwards with research once they're back at school. With this in mind, I had the idea of making a digital resource, sort of interactive sketchbooks, and applied for an Innovation Fund award from the Oxford University Museums Partnership. And I was lucky enough to receive enough funding to work with local developers, One Limited, to create the software and this website, museumsketchbooks.com. It was really great to work with One Limited as developers. They really understood how we wanted the site to look and feel. We wanted it to be really clean, simple and easy to use. The site's also been developed and optimised as tablet first to enable use on tablets and iPads as well as desktop computers, and it's obviously fully compatible with interactive whiteboards and smart boards in school. So if we have a look at the website, which is here. Sorry, I'm used to using a Mac. I've just found my cursor. I do apologise. So basically, the website has 4 of our redeveloped sketchbook pages, and that's 1 per university museum, and each one focuses on a key theme for that museum. So I'll just show you them really quickly, and then we'll focus in on one. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So this is the Ashmolean one. Based on portraits. This is a popular theme. Sorry, one of the hotspots has opened itself in excitement. A popular theme that we're often asked for at the Ashmolean from teachers. We're going to look a bit more in depth at the Pitt Rivers one, so I won't show you that one now, but that one's on global pattern. This is the one for the University Museum, the museum we're in now. Sorry it's so slow at loading, I wasn't expecting that, but it will be worth it. So this is patterns in nature, and again another kind of topic we're asked for a lot at the university museums. And lastly, the Museum of the History of Science one. This is objects of invention. So mechanical objects, obviously objects featured in the collection, and this has been kind of highlighted as potentially particularly of interest to boys, because there's a kind of growing awareness of the lack of boys coming through GCSE art and design. So the pages across the site thus have a kind of large visual thematic appeal, but a focused, relevant theme for each individual museum. They aim to show the type of information a student might collect and also how they might bring their research together into a coherent sketchbook page, and that's obviously quite a challenging thing for GCSE students. So if we look at one of the pages in a bit more depth, look at the Pitt Rivers one. So the hotspots can be turned on and off. So you can see the hotspots, which are the green dots. They can be turned off and on. So if they're really irritating and distracting, you can just turn them off if you don't want them. You can click on any of the hotspots and they open up as light boxes containing additional information. So further explanative text, which I can't scroll. I'm failing to scroll down now. Sorry, I can't get that one to work. And they have links to additional resources, films, photographs, accession and catalogue information. And the hotspots open as a new tab, so it allows for full exploration of the resource while still focusing on the actual resource itself. So it's not navigating away from the site. And the plus and minus buttons at the side allow for a full zoom without loss of resolution, because we've got very high kind of quality images as the basis for this, and we didn't want to lose resolution. So I can't work out why that one won't scroll. I'm really sorry. Sorry. Okay. So basically, I'll just close that. I was going to show you some hotspots, but I can't seem to get them to work. So basically, at the top, the bark painting, if you open that hotspot and you see it fully, that links through to a further resource on Aboriginal art. The pot at the bottom here, if you go onto that hotspot, that gives more information on the pot itself and also on Acoma pottery, and actually takes you out to a link via the hotspot of the Sky City Cultural Centre. So another museum for students to research, allows them an extra kind of virtual visit, virtual cultural visit, and something like the Hyder Bowl hotspot takes you through to a film that they can watch and find out more information. So it's about modelling the further research skills you might want to do back at school. So currently we're marketing the site directly to visiting students and teachers. We've got some cards to give students when they visit, sort of the theme to each museum. We're disseminating at conferences. We've been advertising it on our secondary art and design newsletter. We've had a national launch via NSEAD, the National Society for Education in Art and Design, and there'll be an article in their journal which is coming out very soon. So we're still in very much the early stages of promoting and getting kind of analytic data on how much it's being used and how it's being used. There's room for several more pages on the museumsketchbooks.site, and each member of my team has been trained to use that technology, so as they want to develop more pages, they can in their own time. So essentially the software is a high quality image with information laid over the top in the form of hotspots. It could be a high quality image of... I'm
ask you to finish just in 10-15 seconds. Sorry.
Okay, so it could be a high quality image of anything, and we're looking at different applications as the way it could be used across the museum, and one that's happening now is working with young members of the local Islamic community, with my colleague Chris Parkin at the Museum of History of Science, to look at how they can create some user-generated content to interpret very old Islamic instrumentation at the museum, and there are lots of other kind of applications that it can be used for as well. Sorry I overran. Thank you for listening.